Welcome to Dolly Pardon, the sassiest, classiest, and most unfiltered adult collectors podcast.
We are serving up weekly episodes packed with laughs, hot takes, and all of the tea from the world of adult doll collecting. Whether you're into high fashion minis, vintage treasures, or just here for the love of dolls, we've got you covered.
So grab a drink, strike a pose, and let's talk dolls, because collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a lifestyle. Welcome. I know you missed us. So, today we have a very interesting episode for you guys. We took it to the community. We went into the W Club and we've asked you guys to tell us what you want us to talk about. Today we're going to be discussing the retired Integrity Toys line that made so many heartbeat. We're going to do it with a special guest, a long-time collector, my dear friend Carmen. But first...
The best part about being plastic is you don't need to use a rubber.
Oh, I got it now. Oh, God.
That's good. I like that. Ken's always welcome to my Mojo Dojo Casa.
We know.
We know. There's not been a clean in the house for a while. As my friend Don once said, the older the doll, the looser the hole for the hand peg.
Hey.
Come on, loose hole.
Our first segment of the day is the Dolly Pardon fake news. Real news for fake bitches. On the chopping block first, we have the Ken LeBron James doll. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with LeBron James, but he's a basketball player. Am I right in that?
Yeah, he's an iconic basketball player here in the U.S.
Lovely. So yeah, he's not just a regular signature version, but a collector version in the Kembassadors line, inspired by outstanding men. Is this the first time that we're seeing a Kembassador?
I believe so.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Heard of it.
Exciting. Yeah, because it means that there's more to come. I'd be interested to know who else they'll include. But back to LeBron. I think he's a cool doll. I think he's interesting. I love the little Nikes.
Let me see his
He's
Nikes.
done pretty well. The shoes are, the details are done pretty well.
Yeah.
The clothes are actually reasonably good. It's a $75 doll though, so don't forget that.
That's a big beard as well. Does he have a big beard
Yeah.
usually?
Yeah.
I think he does have a big beard.
Yeah, big beard, and then he's notoriously has a jacked up hairline, but they did a pretty nice solid for him. His hairline looks decent here. And I think the clothes are good quality. Like he has like Nikes, and I'm sure that like Mattel had to pay a bunch of money to put Nikes on a Ken doll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then the
Is that a
Letterman jacket
Basquiat
looked
hat?
you said a Basquiat hat?
Yeah, is that what he's got on?
I'm not sure.
Sorry,
That's
the Letterman.
the wrong podcast to discuss this kind of stuff, Raj. Sorry.
Basquiat?
Basquiat
Do you
is
know what?
he's an artist, honey.
Girl, you better get it. You better get it. You know me. Get with the times, honey.
This is a really cool Letterman jacket. It's like felted, right? It looks like it's like felted with like
looks
a
like
faux
it.
leather on the side. So that looks like it's really cool material.
It's
I
a
just
brand
feel
new
like
body.
really
I think it's meant to be like super tall or something.
nice.
Yeah, probably super tall and muscular. I do kind
So-
of wonder what the bulge is like. Like if it's a new body, did they make the bulge a little bigger? Very
There's a
Way
curious.
to
Black
find out.
bulge.
Only one way to find out.
Raj, I know that you're gonna buy him, so you have to let us know.
Yeah,
Report back,
let you guys
please.
know.
Yeah, just how we like him.
Here's his face. Oh yeah, the face looks good. It looks like LeBron for sure.
I just
Like,
hate
look
the
at-
fake beard. I just hate the fake beard. Sorry.
The sculpt is really sick. Look at like the little frown lines in between his eyebrows. Like that is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Like that's a really cool
Yeah.
detail. Like they did a really cool job on this sculpt right here. It's not just like
Look
a
at the lips.
yeah, the lips look great.
I mean, I'm looking at this jacket and I'm like, it would look sick as an oversized jacket on a Barbie. That's
Yeah.
my immediate go-to. But yeah, I mean, I love everything about this doll. Do you think you guys will buy it?
No, yeah,
Really?
not I'm not like a really like a men's doll collector for one. I have one Tiago just because I think Tiago is so fire. I don't have men's dolls in my collection, and yeah, just spending $75 for something that's gonna sit in the attic is not on my to-do list.
Yeah, I definitely understand the concept of having something worth being on your shelf or in your bank account, and you kind of have to make that decision sometimes. What about you,
Yeah,
Danny?
yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, so
I mean, do
that's a
you...
no then.
She said no.
Moving on.
Next in our fake news, we have Miss Astronaut, the 60th anniversary doll for Miss Barbie. How are we feeling about her? Is it a remake? A re-release?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like a re-release of a doll that was released in 1965. And I
Okay.
really love these re-releases just because sometimes you do really like these dolls, but whenever you try to get them on eBay, they're really expensive, but also it's hard
Yeah.
to find them in really good condition. So I personally, I know that this is going to be a controversial statement, but I actually do prefer buying the re-releases compared to like a lot of the vintage dolls, just because the vintage dolls are in really rough shape a lot of the time.
Yeah, and they're more reasonably priced, for sure. You have to think about your
Hmm.
bank account.
How much is she?
Yeah. She is $55.
Okay, so
Oh,
that's
not
cheap
bad. Yeah.
actually. She's got the classical Barbie sculpt and a very simple outfit. I mean, the thing that makes me the most curious about her is whether she's been to Uranus or not.
No, but she's definitely been to your black hole. I
That's where she's
isn't
been since 1965.
she's just been released.
I mean, she's cool though.
Yeah.
Are you girls gonna buy her?
No. I get some of the reproductions, but this one is not as exciting to me.
Yeah, she doesn't
No.
speak to me, especially the oven mitts. I mean, I feel like
Hmm.
her face is classic, but maybe too classic for my collection. I
Hmm.
is it me, and this is me being a total noob here, but her eyes remind me of Poppy Parker, or vice versa. Is that
It's
a thing?
it's a 60s kind of thing. It's the eyeliner with the eyeshadow. It's a very 60s screening. I mean, I don't know how many people go into space with blue eyeshadow, thick eyeliner, and red lips. Props
Barbie
to her for
would.
doing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Barbie does,
Yeah. If
clearly.
anyone would do it, it's Barbie.
Yeah, yeah. I guess she can afford to do that now that she doesn't pay for a DEI.
Did you say DUI?
DEI.
She said DUI. Do you know what DUI
DE.
means? No.
No, what's that? What DUI?
Ask Estefan. I'm sure she
What's
knows all about
DUI?
DUIs.
I've never had a DUI before, but it means driving under the influence.
Oh, okay. No, no. Well, she probably is driving under the influence. I mean,
In
yeah,
space.
in
Mm.
space.
She's cute, but I think it's a
I
no
like the
from all of us,
packaging.
right?
The packaging is the best part.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually, the
Miss.
packaging is cute.
Okay, Miss Astronaut.
Yeah, a
Teleport
little,
us to Mars.
yeah, she's fucking cool. I like this little artwork back here. That's sick.
Yeah,
Hmm.
very. Who's that now?
Hmm.
Bill
Bill
Greening.
Greening.
Oh,
Oh.
there's a Bill Greening doll.
There is a petition that you guys can sign online to reinstate Bill Greening at Mattel. I mean, hopefully Mattel will actually consider doing this, but Bill Greening seems to be in support of being reinstated at Mattel. So if you guys do want to see Bill Greening back at
Interesting.
Mattel, there is a petition online that you guys can sign.
I mean,
The-
like we said in our previous episode, I feel like there must have been a level of joint agreement here. I would be surprised if it was all just Mattel's decision, but who knows?
We don't know. We can't tell.
Next topic, y'all.
So, welcome to the Dolly Parton Review. Today we have a super special and super juicy episode. We're going to be reviewing Integrity Toys retired lines. We're going to do it with a person that I love, an amazing friend of the podcast, an amazing friend of mine, the fabulous Carmen. Hello, my darling. People that follow the podcast.
Hello, everyone.
They've heard
you
your
for
name a
having
few
me.
times. Thank you for coming, darling. You know, your knowledge today will be more than necessary. You know an awful lot about dolls. You have been collecting for ages. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, sweetheart?
Let's see. I'm old. Start with that. And when I say that, meaning I've probably been collecting dolls. I want to almost say since birth, if that is even like accurate, but I would probably say I've loved dolls since I was probably about 3 years old. I mean, there's like one picture of me when I was like 3, and I had like a baby doll. I think it was a baby alive, and I used to take her everywhere with me. And there's just a picture of me with my little handbag, and my baby alive was like in this little in the hand on the side. So I've just always have an affinity for dolls. But as with most people, you have that tragic backstory of when you become a teenager and they tell you, well, you're too old to be playing with dolls, so don't do it anymore. And then you go hide them, and then you occasionally just take them out when you get really stressed. That was always my thing. So I hid them, and then eventually I just had to get rid of them. And then I want to say okay. So this is again, as I said, I preface it as being old. Okay, so remember infomercials, and there was okay. So late at night. Because I've always been a little bit of a night owl. And this is when I had stopped collecting Barbies, and I didn't know that they had collectible Barbies. I had no idea it was even a concept. They had these Gone with the Wind Barbie dolls. And I saw that and I was like, holy snap. First of all, I love Gone with the Wind. I'm not going to lie. I think it's the greatest soap opera, and I think it's the funniest movie on the planet. And the fashions and just the look of the movie. The rest of it, yes, we know it's trash. That's kind of beyond the point. But that's how I saw that they did the collectibles of Gone with the Wind. So there was the one with her with at the barbecue, the green and white dress at the barbecue. Yes. There was the one with the curtain that she did. They did that one, and they did the red one. So I was like, holy smokes. Now, I didn't get any of those dolls. Didn't want them. Just it introduced the concept that they were collector dolls. And then I saw the silk screens, and I was still like, do I really want to dip my toe in that? But I loved the lingerie. I thought that was just a beautiful concept. And then I always call her L5, but it was the African-American, the black Barbie with the bubble cut. So I affectionately call her L5. I have 2 of her. She was my favorite, and she was what kind of brought me back into the fold with Barbie. And then I got with My Scene. I got like a ridiculous amount of My Scene dolls. I love Madison.
How many dolls do you have?
Okay, if I had to really catalog it and think about it. So from an integrity standpoint, I've probably got about 400 maybe on integrity. Yeah, because I started collecting them in like 2006.
Oh my
God.
Wow.
I made, and honestly, and that could be over under. It's kind of, again, most of my dolls are boxed up. So I don't, and I've got some in the basement. I've got Silkstones. I've got a Versace Barbie, and I remember buying her from the Versace store in Atlanta. So I would say roughly, if I had to like guesstimate without seeing everything that I have, it's probably about 600. And I mean, and again, it's just various of all kinds of just different things. But again, you have to take into the fact that we're looking at somebody who's been collecting for well over 25 years. So it's a lot.
Integrity Toys specifically since 2006. So this segment is going to be a breeze for you. Like, you are going to know everything. Cause
if I don't know everything.
You have 3 dumb bitches that don't know anything about these retired lines right here. So.
Well, no, I will say this. Some of the retired ones, there are some dolls I do know, some that I don't. I can definitely help you on the Dynamite Girls for sure. and
Don't spoil
the
it.
monograms. Yeah,
Don't
like
spoil
so
it.
again,
Don't
just
spoil
whatever ones you throw at me, I can try to give you some feedback on them. I'll put it that way. I'll just put it
All
that way. I'm
right.
not going to spoil anything. So I will.
So
You guys will kind of test my knowledge.
we took
Okay.
it to the W Club and we asked people which are the most popular retired lines.
Okay.
And you actually suggested that to me, Carmen, at the time, and just put it in the W Club and just ask people which one was the best line, which one they would like to see back. But these are the people, the dolls that people have been mentioning. So let's start this journey.
All
We'll
right, let's see what
start
you got.
off with the Dynamite Girls era. Let's start with the
Yes.
Love Revolution collection.
Yes. The last ones, they were so cute.
So I know that you love the Dynamite Girls, and I knew nothing at all about these girls until I spoke to you. Do you want to tell us a bit more about this line? I know that one of the attractive things about these dolls is, first of all, the amount of accessories that they come with,
Yes.
but also the price point. How cheap were they? Like, incredible.
They were. Okay, so I'll take it back a little further because the slide you have up now is the last line of them. So I want to say 2008 maybe is when the first three came out, and it was an Aria. She had those little pigtails. She was a little blonde. She was super cute. There were three like really super cute little dolls. I want to say they were $29.99 maybe $39.99. They were not super expensive, but when they first started, they weren't accessory heavy. They were just a good, like, if you wanted, like, the weight of the body was really nice. So if you were, say, coming from Mattel, and you know how lightweight the Barbies are, and you wanted something a little sturdier, and say, hey, you were just like, you would always look at Integrity and be like, I can't pay for them fashion royalty girls. Them bitches is too high. I can't, we coming from Mattel. I'm like, I wanted like a cheap $15 doll, and y'all wanting like $54 for a damn Integrity doll. Fuck that. I can't do it. Sorry.
Right. Or Dynamite Girls, like, just like modern girls living in the modern world. Like, what is the story behind Dynamite Girls, if there is one?
So there wasn't really a story, like, and again, and I'm kind of trying to remember exactly, because I think the way Elaine explained it, they were like, the concept of them was they're supposed to be like fighting fashion crime. It was kind of a weird tagline for them, but they were just really they were just super adorable, cute dolls, and they could wear Barbie clothes.
Raj? If they were fighting fashion crime, have they met Raj?
They probably Right. The nice thing about it too, but the big thing was, again, if you were coming from Mattel to breakaway, to give kind of your gateway drug into Integrity, this was like your perfect line, because they shared Barbie clothes. You could wear they could wear Barbie clothes, they could wear the shoes. So there was really, like, it was just not one of those things where you're just like, oh yeah, I'll buy one of these things.
Right.
Great dolls. So yes, I would say the Dynamite Girls really, the boys kind of catapulted them to another level. So the Dynamite Girls were really cute. In the convention, I want to say maybe the 2009 convention, and I didn't go to it, but I think that's when they did one of the first style labs, and it was the Dynamite Girls.
Okay.
So you got to have a new Dynamite Girl. You had like 6 or 7 outfits that you could pick from, and accessories. So again, the mix and match, however you wanted to design them, and that was the end. That was it. But what was great about the Diamond Girls were just the cheapness of them, and as they got better. So like that first line was kind of, again, I'd say it's a little girly, just very cutesy. I guess that's the best way to put it. It was just a very cutesy line. And then as they got better, so I'd say by the time Back to Brooklyn came up, and Naomi, I think I sent you the one picture of my my Jasper, and she had such a cute little dress. Like, that whole collection was, again, super cute, and it was one of the first that introduced the Dynamite boys. And so you got the cute little outfits, lots of accessories, and again, these dolls are like $65. You couldn't beat the price point on them. And once again, smaller size, sheer Barbie clothes. Poppy was introduced in 2009. So again, so about another year. But again, Poppy, if you wanted to modernize your Poppy and put her in something cute from their clothes fit, it was just that nice option. So
they
mix and
fitted
match.
actually Poppy's body then?
They would.
Okay, because they have a very pedestrian fashion. I mean, scroll to the
Mm.
next one, Estefan, because I think the next one is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Stokey
this was a cute
Shooky.
one.
Stokey Shooky
Yes.
now.
Yeah, and you see the little devil. And I actually
The
have the Danny with the road. She's the roadkill basically. I do have her too.
Oh. I love these dolls. Like anything that's like gruesome, Halloweeny, but still serving. These are
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
We actually saw a Suki not too long ago, right? And was it what
Mhm.
the 2019 convention? We saw a Suki come back.
There was a Suki that came back, and I'm trying to think. I went to, let's see, I was at that live at Fashion Week, and I don't, there might have been a Suki because I went to that convention in Baltimore. She was not part of that convention because if she was, I would have gotten her. It might have even been 2020. I guess, as I said, some, again, as we all know, we got pandemic brains. So I can't remember certain things sometimes. But yeah, but
um,
the upgraded Suki was super cute. She again, I missed out on that one. I wish I had gotten
it
her.
was it was the 2020 Legendary Convention. It was that witch. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
she's super cute.
Yeah, she's really cute.
which
I hope that
one?
we continue to see
Sorry, continue.
Suki
No,
because I like her a lot.
Hoping maybe they'll put her in the True line. I feel like the True line is kind of supposed to be the replacement for the Dynamite Girls, but again, kind of
Hmm.
the same concept, just not the price points. Unfortunately, you guys could not come in on the sweet spots of the prices. When I started collecting early, I got some deals that I will
Yeah.
never be able to replicate ever, ever. I mean, I got a hot property for under her retail. That's how, and I mean
Wow.
full unboxed from a dealer. So that should
That's
if that
wild.
tells you anything.
Yeah.
which one is your favorite of the Dynamite Girls?
Okay, if I think I had to really pick. Okay, so I have that TJ. That's the one in the pink with the pink sweater. Not I have that
Hmm.
TJ. She's not my favorite. I think my favorite, and she's not maybe as she's not as I would say she's maybe not as defined as some of the other ones. She might still look a little cartoony, but Integrity had done a Valentine's Day version of TJ, and they
Hmm.
did an AA version of her, and they did a Caucasian version of her,
Oh
and she
wow.
was
Okay.
super cute. And I have her, and she's probably my favorite of the Dynamite Girls. Like if I would say if I had a sentimental favorite, she'd be my sentimental favorite.
I mean, what strikes me the most about this line, and I don't know if it's the same for the other two, is first of all, how many accessories, how many layers these dolls have got. Like the amount of like jackets, sweaters, shirts, skirts, stockings. Like dolls nowadays barely come with a pair of like shoes and a bag.
Yes.
Like
Right.
these bitches came all prepped and primed. Like they had everything. And I personally really like this London Calling collection. The colors are
Hmm.
lovely. I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of TJ. I love the Dale. They look lovely, and I'd love to see them coming back. It's how do girls feel
Mm.
about it?
I think that these are really valuable for the fashion. I'm not a huge fan of the sculpts and the screenings, to be completely honest with you, but I
Yeah.
think that
Mm.
but also these were, back before I think Integrity Toys really refined the screening process. So I love the fashion. I think the fashions are hot. I wish that we would see more
Yeah.
fashion like this from Integrity Toys. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like they're very much heightened almost compared to like Playline dolls or like Barbie. It's like as Estefan said, the fashions, and Naomi, you mentioned the layers. The fact that they're dressed appropriately for London weather is amazing. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. They're missing the wellies though. So if they had the
Yes.
wellies, they'd be.
All the umbrellas, yeah.
Yeah, I think for the time, they suited the time, and I would say maybe the
Mm.
closest would be like Misaki. I would say this is kind of like let's say
Oh
the American-based
yes.
Okay.
version of Misaki would be kind of the
Yeah,
closest.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you wanted a more stylized doll and kind of
Mm.
again, it's cutesy.
Okay, now this one is going to be very exciting. I didn't know that this doll existed. I didn't know that it was a sculpt. And there was a
Okay.
few releases, but I've only made a slide of this, so there's only one slide,
Okay.
because I chosen three of my favorite of the monogram, and this is the monogram era. So let's see. First of all, how
Mm-hmm.
fabulous is
Wow.
this? Carmen, tell us a little bit more about the monogram. What is it? Why is it so cool?
So let's see the monograms. Let me go back to 2009 because the very first monogram was the Jason Wu Life Ball monogram, and it was a miniature replica of one of Jason's fashions. He had done it for a charity. The edition size was like 250. I
Oh,
know that they had
wow.
reserved a little bit for the club, so I think
Yeah.
maybe 60 or 70
Oh,
that the club
wow.
members could get in that lottery. So again, it was well, again, lotteries are a little easier to win back then because there weren't as many members. So I would say the best thing about the monograms at that time is when Jason was still actively involved, there were options to get like more couture looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, they were kind of, I would say they would be like an articulated silkstone, although they didn't
Okay.
have that same type of weight. But it was that same kind of version. Like the
Mm.
faces weren't very super detailed; they were more very stylized, kind of mannequin-esque,
Right.
Yeah.
and they just and so really they were there to highlight more the fashion more so than the
Yeah.
sculpt itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Are these all the
The
same sculpt?
yes.
So I think, yeah, I think this particular
Yeah.
one that Naomi put together, this is all the same sculpt. There's like maybe like three or four of them. I wish I had my avant-gardes that I could have shown you. Um,
Mm.
they were also monogram sculpt, but they were a shrunken version of the 16-inch avant-garde dolls that that
Okay.
Integrity used to carry. And what they did was
Mm.
they made a 12-inch version as a gift set and had the wigs, and it literally looked like the 16-inch avant-gardes, even down to the fashion. But they were just 12 inches and had the wigs, and it was a two doll gift set for 175. It was
Okay.
Oh,
Two
wow.
doll gift
yeah,
set for
mhm,
175.
correct,
Wow.
correct, correct.
Oh my God. I mean, look at interlude monogram. That dress. I
Mhm.
am I'm speechless. That is
Mm.
a beautiful, beautiful doll. That dress is the
Yeah.
lace. You can tell that is a fancy lace. It's beautiful.
Color
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 infusion.
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 Yeah. So I did not. This was difficult to find pictures of for some reasons. They were very difficult to find pictures of. So what are the color infusion dolls?
So the color infusion really are kind of like this is going to sound so bad to say. They're like kind of like the cast-offs. I don't mean it as in a derogatory terms. It's just that they were a lot of sculpts used in other lines that they kind of ended up using and ended up just kind of having to get rid of them in a
Okay.
sense. I only have three color infusion dolls because the two that I have are cast-offs from Gem. So when they
Mhm.
had that gem
Okay.
license, the first one I ever bought was in Chicago at the supermodel convention in 2016. I'm
Are
like,
they
I'm
80s
not that person.
based?
Well, it what they did with the convention theme, I think because that convention, if it's the 2015 convention, I think that's the one they held in Long Beach, if I'm not mistaken. And
Mm.
I think the theme was more like movies, and I think and that was one of the reasons why it was a pink. I picked like the pink ladies, so I just like
Okay.
that Jamie. I just like the hair and everything else. So these three, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Tilda is maybe the Synergy doll, and
Mhm.
then Janae is the Playline Janae's from
Oh
back when Integrity
wow.
started.
So
So
that's a
I
again,
know. I
playline
was
doll.
mm-hmm,
I was just gonna say that Janae has been around for a very long
mm-hmm,
time, and for those of you guys who have watched the Life Size movie with Tyra Banks, Janae
Mhm.
was the like Tyra Banks doll in that movie, which is a fun
Oh, I
fact.
see.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the next slide.
Okay.
So these I found them like
Yes.
very
yes,
1980s. I see
mm-hmm,
them like using an
yeah.
awful lot of hairspray.
I think again, I think these are the style of now the guy is that I think that's might have been Ollie Lawson now
Then.
in the Monarchs FR world. And
Okay.
then the Alyssa is the Alyssa from back in the Playline days. So
Okay.
the Janae counterpart. And then the other one,
Sorry,
I
this is still
want to
color infusion,
say,
right?
this is still a
Yes.
color
Okay.
infusion. Not sure. That might have been an original one, or it might have been another cast off from the gym line. Again, the color infusion was always no. And again, not trying. No shade. Seriously, no shade. Look, they had those head sculpts. They got to get
Mm-hmm.
their money's worth out of those head sculpts.
Right.
So what they and I mean, once the gym license ended, and not all of us, like I didn't collect Jim. I mean, I knew who Jim was. I have seen a Jim cartoon, know what the concept of it is, but in no
Yeah.
means did I ever want Jim dolls as an adult. But again, the care that Vaughn and Elaine took in nurturing that license and what it's meant to a lot of collectors, and it brought in a lot of new collector blood into the W Club. So, props for that. It just wasn't my thing.
What would you say is like what would you say is like a common denominator for these dolls? Because they all look very 80s, but do they have anything else other than that?
I don't really think it was really. And again, I think because what you pulled are from the conventions. Because the one that line that they did another Jamie Costa sculpt, and it was her and a Nisha Louder, I believe. She's got a lot of curly, blondish, dark blondish hair, and she's cute. If you pull that one up, they were kind of trying at that point. I think that Nisha Louder was kind of Beyonce-esque, and that was what the color infusion dolls were going for. But in terms of the convention, I think it kind of was everything goes. So when I was saying the Nisha Louder, so this was like one of the
Yeah.
main lines. Now Nisha was a main line, and then the Zara was, I want to say the Zara and the what's her name? I can't even see it on the sculpt, but
Jacqueline.
The Jacqueline.
Jacqueline,
Yeah.
yes. I want to say those are both, might have been from Supermodel, if not from Supermodel. It was definitely, I want to say those are both definitely convention Style Lab ones. The last two, but again, I might be conflating things, so I freely admit that. But
Jacqueline is very Lady Gaga by the looks of things, isn't she?
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So a lot of
I love
times there was kind of
Nations.
no
Is it?
real themes to this. That's kind of
I,
there's no rhyme or reason with a lot of these.
Right?
Right.
I love the. Is it Naisha? How do you say that?
Naisha. Yeah.
Naisha,
Naisha.
yeah, it might be
I love
Naisha.
the hair texture is lovely.
Yeah, to your point, Carmen, it seemed like Integrity Toys refined and really curated each of the collections that they have now, because it seems like back in the day they were just kind of like releasing dolls and just calling it different doll lines, because there doesn't seem to be like one cohesive theme with these dolls. It's just kind of like what are we inspired by today?
I think you
Absolutely. I
are.
think that's how it feels.
Yeah.
What's
All right.
what's next? Oh, these are, I think, this is the last slide for color infusion.
Yeah, this is another color, just another, again, I think they were just kind of going with whatever sticks
Ooh.
and to kind of
Yeah.
just throw, and again, because these were convention dolls,
Mm-hmm.
they, and had, I mean, looking at this, when you think Lux Life, you're not thinking of these three, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not that I'm being shady, it's just that when you're hearing Lux Life in terms of the thematic
Right.
element and trying to get cohesiveness, that's not what you're seeing here. And I think
Right.
that's always kind of the confusing thing with the conventions is you get one idea going in and then you get there and you're like, I don't understand how any of this mixes. This makes no sense.
There was
I
so
love the
many of
screenings
them
though.
as
The
well.
screenings are lovely.
Hmm.
Do you like them?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know if
that
they
this
are my
looks
cup of tea.
I think this looks really outdated for being in 2018. To me, like, if you told me this doll was released in 2009, that would make more sense. But I think they were already making super outstanding dolls in
Refined.
2018. Yeah, like this does not look
Yeah.
like it was
Yeah.
made from IT in 2018. That's crazy.
No, I think you're right. I think again, I think this again was when you're just trying to get rid of stuff.
Right.
And convention's an easy way to do that. If you're
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there because you're just there and you get so excited, like, oh my God, I'm at convention. There's all these dolls and I just
Right.
want dolls. And again, these were also cast offs from Jim. You kind of keep in that same type of 80s colorful vibe. It doesn't reflect the here and now. It's just,
Right.
And
here's what we
They
can just
clearly
like,
had leftovers that they wanted to get rid of, and they used them
absolutely.
this way.
I
Absolutely.
need
Moving
to know
on.
what's on Jacqueline's shirt. Sorry, just go back one. What,
Oh,
on her shirt. If this Vans are rocking, I want to know what the rest of that says.
finding pictures of these is impossible. I really struggle to find pictures of these dolls.
Did you?
So
All
now
right. The
these
RuPaul era.
we are a bit more like, we're a bit more
Miss
comfortable with this, so we
Paul.
know about her. Raj, you're a
Now
big
you-
fan of RuPaul.
I love RuPaul. Oh my god, I'm a big fan of Drag Race and everything apart from the fracking. Of course, we don't talk about the fracking, but everything else we love.
I love
Carmen, do you
RuPaul
have
too.
any of these?
I have no RuPaul dolls. I like
better
RuPaul, but
work.
RuPaul is not my aesthetic for my dolls. But I
Mm.
appreciate it, but they're just not for me. I'm way past as I told you how many dolls I had. I kind of had to start at some point kind of curating what I want, and I just can't keep dipping into everything. Even though the pop culture in me was like, yeah, if I was being totally honest and I wanted to just buy them to flip, yeah, I would have done it.
Mm.
But
I mean,
Yeah.
these dolls.
it's not worth it for me.
These dolls are done really well. I think they give the drag aesthetic very, very well. I mean, look at even the
Yeah.
boobs. They look like they've been padded and everything. So they look lovely. I just really like it.
I
I
know
love the
that
binoculars.
I know that Trixie is on the East 59th Street body for like the big boobies. Do you guys know what body these are on? Carmen, do you know?
I don't. I could probably find. You know what the funny thing is? I hoard emails. I bet you I still got the emails with the specs on these boobs. I'm not kidding.
Meteor 1.0.
Yes, and honestly, as I'm looking at the bazooms, that looks like the meteor. Yeah, because them girls got some boobs on them.
It's
Woo!
Meteor.
Boobs and booty.
There's only 750 of these dolls. The edition size were very small for 2018.
Yeah, I think this was still before like Integrity Toys like really blew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I remember them
pre-pandemic.
him advertising the RuPaul doll on an episode of Drag Race, like whenever it first
Oh,
launched. I think whenever this
yes.
Kitty Girl Pink and
Really?
Glamazon, yeah, they had the little RuPaul doll on the little judging panel
I
table.
remember.
Yeah, and then he gave like IT a little plug-in on that episode. I remember. All right, moving
I have
on.
to watch it now.
I
Yeah.
think that's the last character for the day.
Amanda. Miss
Amanda Lepore. I'm obsessed. She's so
Gross.
iconic. So finding pictures of this bitch was so difficult. These dolls, I think they've been erased from memories. People don't want to talk about them anymore. But I found them iconic.
I
Yes.
think she's so
I mean-
hot. Look at those
Yeah.
boobies with the cold little nipples. She's so cold. It's
She's
so nippy in
cold.
here.
I mean, I love the lips. The face is just everything.
She is such an icon in general, so I'm like, it's so great to see her in like, it represents her so well as well. I mean, down to the names.
Do you have any Amanda Lepore, Carmen?
I don't. Amanda was before my time as well.
Oh,
So I
wow.
have no
2006, I
Amanda.
think she is.
I didn't know who Amanda Lepore was probably until maybe 2007. Because
That's what Amanda Lepore is. Plastic.
Yeah.
We love her.
I want to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
because she kind of reminds me. Okay, and I don't. She's not quite the Monster Z, but there's somewhere like I feel like there's some overlap between those dolls and Amanda. I would say the oldest doll in my collection is a Monster D doll, and I probably if I find that doll in the basement, it's probably disintegrated because the body is so old.
I think I read somewhere that these dolls had a particular plastic, a specific type of plastic they use for the bodies. It was meant to feel like skin. So they have all sorts of
Whoa.
problems. Yeah, they have
I
all
wonder if
sorts
her
of
boobs are
problems.
squishy.
Yeah,
She
they're like
probably has
mine.
squishy
Mine-
boobs.
Yeah, say, but mine aren't.
Who doesn't like a squishy boob? I mean,
No, we all love a squishy boob. Well, these two don't like squishy boobs.
well, yeah, no, they don't, but you know.
The one thing I forgot, she also has a vajayjay as well.
Really?
That's what I heard. That's what I had
she has
heard.
a
I was kind of
vajayjay.
surprised by that when I had found out about this doll. I was like, oh,
She has a
we're going all
vajayjay,
the
just like
way.
Raj.
Okay, hold on.
And
I'm
wigs
going to
too,
Google it
right?
live.
Yeah, just like Raj.
Yeah, she has wigs too. Like I think all of these dolls came with like 2 or 3 wigs.
Yeah,
I am
with
doing a
Stan.
live search for Amanda Lepore right
They are
now.
so expensive.
see.
They're really
Yeah,
I-
Raj,
I
I could
want-
imagine her being super expensive right now.
Don't worry,
I can't.
listeners. I'm not gonna share my I'm not gonna share my screen, so you guys will not see Amanda Lepore doll vagina. Don't worry.
I Oh my god! I just googled it and it's a real thing.
Really?
Oh my god.
That's what we're talking about. Dolly Parton Vagina podcast.
You guys have all you guys have
Oh,
all heard Raj seeing his first vagina here live.
I know. Raj sounds so horrified by what he's discovered now.
My eyes!
Exactly.
I
It's
d-
like, you need bleach now.
oh my
For the
god.
love of God. But I just love the whole situation with the vajayjay, with the nips, the
Yeah.
lips. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. I'm
Yeah,
obsessed.
she's great.
Right. So, final thoughts. So, Carmen, which one would you say out of all these deadlines is your favorite? And I mean, I know which one you're going to say is your favorite, but tell us again which one you think is your favorite.
Well, it's funny. As I'm looking back at the monograms, and if you were to find me on the W Club, my avatar is a monogram.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, admiration, which and she's probably my favorite monogram. I would probably say the monograms after seeing this and just kind of being reminded of what was out there. I wouldn't mind seeing the monograms come back, because I do think that element of true fashion, just to have a complete fashion doll. And I guess if you really like, I'd say more archivist fashion. I mean, like seeing some things that are inspired by Dior, that level of couture. I would love to see like even just a small comeback line. But again, that would require someone who actually has the design aesthetic to really want to kind of focus and to hone in on that. So I wouldn't mind
Right.
seeing a comeback of that.
Yeah, I feel like that
Stefan?
should be. I'm thinking like that should be fashion royalty. Like when I think of fashion royalty versus new face, I think fashion royalty is like heritage, couture. New face is like ready to wear, and I feel like the two lines have become like more and more interwoven. Where it's like sometimes it's kind of hard to tell the difference between what's a new face doll and what is a fashion royalty doll. Anyways, final thoughts for me. I would love to see more Suki. I think Suki is a cute little witchy bitch, and I would love to see more of her.
Raj?
So if I'm completely honest, I'm not so sure that any of those dolls resonated with me. But one thing I would love to say and love to mention, Carmen, is just hearing your histories and your experience with doll collecting has been so wonderful. You're like an encyclopedia. And it's
Right.
so great to see that this is something that has lasted and lived with you for years. I aspire to be like you one day and to be able to have knowledge at my fingertips about something that I'm so passionate about. So those are my final thoughts on this conversation.
I'd want Amanda Lepore. I'm pleading to all the listeners. Send me Amanda Lepore dolls, please. I'm obsessed.
Naomi's used to begging, like, yeah, it's normal for her.
I'm gonna show her to my surgeon. I'm gonna show her to my surgeon and say, "Can I please look exactly like this?" So I am obsessed. But I think
And
that
Naomi, I'm going
was-
to tell you, don't spend all the money on it. I'm going to sit there and be like, don't look back. Don't get it. You're going to go into
This is
debt.
why.
It's not worth it. Don't do it. The bitch is probably
This is
gonna
why I'm
crumble.
asking for
Don't
free.
do it.
This is why I'm asking for free. Right. So, Carmen, thank you so much for being with us today. Very quickly, do you want to tell all the listeners what's your favorite doll of all times?
You're trying to make me decide between my children. Okay, if I'm being totally honest, it probably won't be an integrity doll, because Naomi also knows that I have really lost my mind and gone to the muses, and I got 3 of them.
You're one of those people.
Yeah, I became one of those people. And if I had to say what my favorite is right now, it would be, and I would say just right now, it would be my Jasmine muse. I love her so much. She becomes a new doll every time I smack a wig on her, and she was worth the money. And the level of detail, the makeup, the face up is just, it's stunning. And
Yeah.
it's really hard. And again, it's not a knock against integrity because, as you all know, I do love Natalia. I love her to my soul. She was my first integrity doll that I ever saw. And it was back when the storylines. She's always been the bad girl with a heart of gold. I love a social climber and a gold digger. And that is Natalia to her core. So
Also Naomi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Naomi, she's aspiring the head of house bitch now. You know, this we're not. So yeah, so I would say right
Right.
now it would be my Jasmine, but I would say as overall, if I had to pick amongst all the FR girls, it would be Natalia.
Raj?
Yeah. Okay, so finally, for the Dolly Parton playlist, we have a playlist on Spotify, and for all of our guests, it's a bit of a guest book. We have to enter a song that you love or you like or something you're feeling right now. Totally up to you. What song would you add?
Let's see. Okay, it's gonna be High Times by Jamiroquai. I love that song to my heart. I love it. I got lucky to see them when they were in Chicago in 2018.
Yeah.
And my friend took a video of me singing along with it, and I was just all in my whole little zone, and it makes me very happy. And I'm gonna pick that one.
That is
I love
amazing.
that. We got
Lovely
some
song.
sentimental memories in our playlist now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carmen, thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for sharing all your knowledge. And we are just so thankful that you did spend some time with us. You know, you're a busy lady, and thank you for being such a great friend.
Well,
I'm gonna
I want to
cry.
say I've got like I feel like now I feel like I'm like you guys' little auntie, and I've taken all three of you underneath my wing. So if you need
Oh,
any like
sweetie.
advice or
Oh,
help in regards to
that's so
whatever I can
lovely.
do to help with the as you all are on your journeys with integrity. And
Oh,
as
that's really
Naomi
sweet.
knows, I'm going to talk you off ledges. Don't fall for the grail stuff. I'm serious. Do not do it. Do not do it. Because again, this is a real easy hobby to go broke into really easily, especially trying
Yeah.
to recapture past glory. I understand it. I get it. But one thing you will notice is stuff comes back around. I love the glory days. I'm lucky I got in when I did collect, but the nice thing when I look at going public, I never had to rebody her because Le Tuxedo came out, which is basically the same going public. She's just got
Yeah.
longer hair and her skin tone's a little bit different, but she's on
Yeah.
body and I can just mess around with her. Like everything kind of circles back around.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, unless you really, really want it, don't do it to yourself. It's just not worth it.
Them.
Yeah, especially because these
Yeah.
bodies, because them old bodies are crumbling, and by the time you spend all that money getting a doll, the body's crap. Then you got to go find another current body to rebody him on. You spent more than you need to, and it's
Oh.
not necessary. You could have bought like $5 for what you spent on one. But if you really love it,
Man.
I get it. But just save yourself some heartbreak. Don't do it. Just
Don't
spend it
fall
on.
for it.
Yeah, don't fall
I
for it.
love
Or and if
that
you're going to
you're
spoil that.
I love that you're gonna be our auntie. Although I thought Naomi was like at least 30 years older than you. But that's okay.
You
And
can
on
go to
that
hell.
note,
Right,
thank
it's
you.
time to wrap it up now.
Am I starting fights now amongst all of you? I did not mean that.
It's time to wrap this up, okay?
Lovely to have spoken
Right.
to you, Carmen. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Wow.
Carmen.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, y'all. Thank you guys so much for listening to our episode today. I hope that you guys learned something new about Integrity Toys. Maybe you found something new that you want to go dive deep into eBay and try to find for yourselves. I know that I've seen some things that I potentially want to get. Anyways, where can we find the two of you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at House of Deluge.
And you can find me on House of Kismet on Instagram.
And you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Plastic Poppy. Thank you guys so much for listening today. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.